My name is Jessica Kartchner. I'm a functional life skills special education teacher at Alhambra High School. I met Will Mulders 3 years ago when I moved to Alhambra High School, and he was a sophomore in high school when I started working with him, and I've worked with him his sophomore, junior, and senior years at Alhambra. I teach him all his academic subjects, reading, writing, math, and also a life skills class on different functional life skills. Will and I communicate in several ways. Will communicates using a few different signs. When he wants to say yes, he waves his hand, and when he wants to say no, he shakes his head. And then he has a few other signs that he uses for things like computer and driving home. But he's also developed his ability to communicate using the iPad. When I got to Alhambra High School, one of his IEP goals was to write 20 words on the iPad. And we had a list of words that included words like Papa, Will's name, his mom's name, his pet's name, and then a few things that he likes to do, like play the iPad and go to the gym.
My name is Will.
And he started working on those words. We'd work on them every day. And after a while, he knew all those words, and he started teaching himself other words. He would start typing on the iPad a word that he knew, and he would try to figure out how to spell that word. If he was trying to spell apple, he would try to figure out the letters to apple until the iPad auto-corrected his spelling and told him how to spell how to spell apple. And that's how we learned to write. We just really gave him the iPad, and he taught himself several words. And by the end of that first school year, his sophomore year, he had learned hundreds of words that he had taught himself on the iPad. And now he's a senior, and he's able to write sentences and paragraphs with some assistance, but mostly he's able to write the things he wants to say and communicate using the iPad. Well, Will's in my class for 4 periods for his academic periods, and when he has free time in my class, he loves to play on the iPad. That's his favorite thing. He likes to watch YouTube videos of some of his favorite cartoons and Disney movies, and he also likes to play games and read books. And he also, during his time during the school day, he goes out to 2 general education classes. Right now he's enrolled in a digital photography class. And in that class, he goes with 30 general education students and works on digital photography. He uses his iPad to take pictures, and then he uses apps on the iPad to edit those pictures. And he really takes some beautiful pictures, and he's able to take these pictures on his own and also write sentences about what's in the pictures on them. And he has opportunities to interact with his general education peers as well in that class. Will has developed significantly in the last 3 years on a few different levels. Will, when I came to Alhambra High School, had several behaviors. He would scream a lot, and he would also pull hair when he got upset. And he did that because that was his only way of communicating. When he didn't want to do something, or when something wasn't going his way, the only way he had to tell us was to scream at us or to pull our hair. And so the iPad has really improved that as he's been able to communicate. And we've also developed several systems where he understands how much time he needs to work before he can have free time. And once Will understands, this is what I have to do to get the things I want, he really works well with that structure, and he's been able to calm down a bunch and really get to work. And Will loves to work. He loves to learn, and he loves to work. Will's taught me several lessons. He's helped me a lot to become a better teacher. Will really likes information to be presented in a specific way. He loves to learn, but he likes to learn on his terms and in a way that works for him. And so he's taught me a lot as a teacher about adapting information and offering information to students in their specific ways and according to their specific modes of learning. And I've learned that as I do that and as I respect their modes of learning, students learn more and they're excited about learning. Will's become really excited about learning as he's found ways that work for him to learn. He's also taught me a lot about love. When Will first got to Alhambra High School, he had a lot of behaviors and it was hard to work with him. And frustrating. We had a lot of frustrating moments when we first started out, but over time we've really developed a really close bond because we've worked together through our struggles. I think he has patience with me now and I have patience with him now, and we've been able to understand each other and communicate in both a verbal and nonverbal way that we care for each other and respect each other, and I really appreciate the bond that we have. There are several things about Will that have amazed me. Will is such a determined kid. He has this major determination. If he wants to do something, he's going to do it and he's going to succeed at it. I think a lot about his dad and their races, and they're so determined as a team. I see that a lot in the classroom with Will. Will really, when he wants to learn something, he works and works and works until he learns it on his own. And he expects to be challenged, and he appreciates it when he is challenged. He's a very determined kid. I think it's really important that people interact with children with special needs and adults with special needs like they would interact with anyone else. Will specifically communicates using an iPad, and in my classroom we call the iPad his voice. When we ask him a question, he responds with the iPad, but we don't ask the iPad to respond, we ask Will to respond, and he just uses the iPad as a means of communication. And I think the public can know that when they walk up to a child or an adult with special needs, they can treat him or her like they would treat anybody else. They can ask them the same questions and then let them respond in their specific mode of communication. And students or people with special needs, I feel like really respond well to this and really thrive when they're treated like everybody else. Will has had some really great opportunities to be in general education classes at Alhambra High School. Every year he's had 2 general education classes. He's had digital photography and art and PE, and this year he helps out in the library as well. And as he's had opportunities to be in with the general education students, he has opportunities to see how general education students act, and to get the see models of appropriate social skills and appropriate interactions. And then on the flip side, the general education students have the opportunity to get to know Will. Usually at the beginning of the year, you can see the general education students in the classes be a little uncomfortable with the ones who don't know Will and haven't met him. But as the year goes on, by the middle of the year, and especially by the end of the year, they're used to Will and they understand Will. They know how to communicate with him. They understand that sometimes he makes weird noises makes humming noises in the back of class, and they don't even notice them by the end of the year. And when they see Will on campus or in the community, they say hi to him and they know how to interact with him. And I really feel like these kids that are having this exposure to Will and to other students with special needs, those are going to be the kids in the future that are the managers of different companies that are hiring people with special needs, and are the leaders of organizations that advocate for people with special needs. I feel like it's a really powerful, that the exposure that they're getting to people with special needs is really powerful for our community.